Hey everyone, Thinsless here with Thinsless Gaming. Let's wrap up Pre-KvK real quick. Let's look at the map, and let's go over to 3 big rants that I have right now. Stay tuned. Alright, let's wrap up Pre-KvK. We're here real quick. 1365 took first, 2377 took second, 3310 took third, 2293 took fourth place. 1365 took first place based on their volume of players. 2377 had the larger players wailing out, but they didn't have the numbers to keep up with 1365. Sure, Mr. Hope and Wild Lion absolutely wailed out. Go check out his channel and his live stream if you want to watch someone blow over 300K US dollars. I think it was closer to 400K of US dollars training troops. He put up just massive scores to take first and second place in the individual rankings, but 2377 fell short because they had many players in the top 10, but 1365 had more of a volume of mid-score to large score players that they outpaced 2377 in the long run. 3310, we came in a respectable third place. We only pushed our daily AP for Marauders. We had some guys that went harder to get the speed ups. Personally, I put a little bit of AP into that to get some speed ups, but I didn't go crazy either. Training, we put our main emphasis, like everyone does, on the training phase, because that's really where Pre-KvK is won and lost, is, you know, the training phase. And then camps, that's just to make sure that, you know, the position underneath you doesn't catch up to you if you're in a close score. Otherwise, there's absolutely no reason for forts. The rewards suck, and it's just a waste of another 2 days. Alright, so let's take a look at the map selection process, and this leads me to my first rant here about this KvK. This process takes a full 24 hours to flesh itself out. You have 6 hours per camp to select your position on the map. Now, you've had a week to review this map, look at the buffs, and by the time the power phase ends, you pretty much know where you're going to land and what your options are going to be. First place is going to pick Northumbria. Hands down, 3% all damage, march speed, 3%. If first place doesn't select, you know, Northumbria, you know, there might be a little something going on in the head of, you know, leadership. Second place, they really have a choice here of the rest, but the field troop damage plus 3%, they're more than likely going to go for this. So your options are narrowing down. You do not need 6 hours per camp to figure this out. There's no point that 2293 needs 6 hours to take the camp that's left. That's the only thing left here is, you know, the East. So this is waste of time. This is a waste of a day when you've already spent about a week in Pre-KvK. If you look at KvK chapters, when a chapter ends and, you know, the next chapter is a pass opening, you have what, 8 to 12 hours before, from the time the chapter begins till the pass opens. There's absolutely no reason why this process needs to take twice as long. You've been looking at this map for a week. You know where you're going to end up coming out of stage 2 of Pre-KvK. There's no reason that 3 hours per camp is not enough. This is ridiculous and a waste of a day. Lilith really needs to take a look at this and shorten this down to like a 12-hour period. Let's get into Lost Kingdom and let's get this thing going. For my second rant here, first and second place in a KvK like this, where you have 2 Imperiums and then 2, you know, camps of the smaller alliances. First place gets first pick, they're obviously going to pick Northumbria. Second place sets the KvK. They really have the most power and say in how this KvK goes, at least on paper. At least on paper. Because if you look at the way the map is set up right now, 2377, if they picked East, even though the buffs aren't the greatest, it would set up, a fight here in Zone 5 between the two Imperiums, and they'd have one allied, province down here. By picking down here in Wessex, they're pitting 3310 against 2377. Not that we're going to not give this our best effort. We're going to treat this like every other KvK. We're going to go hard, but our chances against 2377, just being realistic here, aren't that great. So there's a real possibility that we get zone locked here, and now we're just sitting here farming in our zone, and up here with 1365, our allies up here, until we get into basically, Kingsland. If they would have picked East over here, that would have put 2293 down here. We would have had a much better time fighting it out with 2293 down here, and in the middle. This would have been a much more fair, much more enjoyable blast of a KvK going into Kingsland. The two Imperiums up here, they're gonna butt heads. It's gonna be a struggle, and it's probably going to be more fun for them. 2377, I know in KvK 3 when we locked 3290, it was not that fun for a while. We just sat there and farmed because we zone locked them in, I think it was 4 to 6 hours, and then we just spent the rest of the time twiddling our thumbs and dealing with CC marches, hitting our farmers, chasing them around, and it was super annoying. And then we zone locked 08 here in 8 hours once Zone 6 opened, and then again we were back to just farming and dealing with CC marches. So this has the makings of being a dull KvK possibly, but we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong here, and hopefully this is a really enjoyable KvK. If nothing else, we're gonna see how this storyline plays out and have a good time with it. My third rant has to do with Pre-KvK. Lilith needs to do something with Pre-KvK. They did it, a whole new KvK map here, a whole new mechanic for selecting your camps. Why can't they address Pre-KvK and the redundancy of it? Add in a new setup for Pre-KvK with 3 new phases of something to spend AP on. I don't know what, I don't have all the ideas fleshed out in my head, but even if it's Marauders, some type of other mechanic to then just the satchels and the parchments. Stage 2, it's all training. Everyone knows it. Once you know what the timing is of Pre-KvK, the entire off season, you're building up to stage 2. You're training, lower tier troops to upgrade to tier 5. Once you know the timing, you're going to pop your 50k expansions. There you go. Forts are dull, boring, pointless. They need to do something to spice that up. It would be great if they came up with 2 other renditions of Pre-KvK and made it unknown factor surprise going into KvK where you don't know which Pre-KvK you're going to get. So there's no pre-planning, and then you have to react. Okay, now we have a chance even against, these Imperiums. Maybe they didn't get, set up or their timing's off, even if it is a training phase. Even if they just switch up the days, I don't know. But they got to do something to make it, spice it up, make it a little bit more fun. So those are my 3 rants. That's wrapping up pre-KvK. We have 7 more hours until this KvK kicks off. I'm super excited. We're going to be live streaming here soon, so stay tuned, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.